Hey friends, this is Dixon Kavanaugh, and welcome to the first episode of Out Loud with Dixon, where we will explore wisdom, get creative, and better appreciate this fun, chaotic, and beautiful world that we live in. Today, I've got something fun for us all. I will be reading an excerpt from James Allen's As a Man Thinketh. As a Man Thinketh is old school. It was written back in 1903, and as a result, it has some cultural quirks and some funny words like hath and thinketh. It even has some poems interspersed without it. But don't worry, I'll only read a few of those. First, I'd like to get us started with a quote. And in doing my research for this podcast, I found out that a quote that I thought was attributed to Nelson Mandela actually isn't. In fact, it's attributed to a Mrs. Marianne Williamson, an author, spiritual leader, and most recently, 2020 presidential candidate. And the quote reads, "And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others." Marianne Williamson. That's a powerful quote. What stands out to you? In today's reading, we're going to come across a lot of gems, a lot of powerful material, and great ideas. Great ideas are like animals on the safari. I'll point some out, and you'll notice others. But which ones will you remember? My goal for us today is to get us laser focused on the idea that, in choosing to cultivate more presence, confidence, and love in our own lives, we enable others to do the same. In choosing to improve upon ourselves, we increase our capacity to contribute and help others. If these core ideas of presence, confidence, and love ring true with you, please gather around, get close, and join me as we dive into the world of James Allen's As a Man Thinketh. This little essay, As a Man Thinketh, is exercising a commanding influence in many lives today. Read it, not hastily, but thoughtfully and often. You will find in it not a single reference to speaking, but you will discover much that has to do with building the prime requisites of a successful speaker, in abiding self-confidence and sincerity and personality. All effective speaking and real leadership of men issues from effective thinking. We have known of many cases in which this little message has become a prodigious power in people's lives. As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Thought and Character. The aphorism, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he," not only embraces the whole of a man's being, but is so comprehensive as to reach out to every condition and circumstance of his life. A man is literally what he thinks, his character being the complete sum of all of his thoughts. As the plant springs from and could not be without the seed, so every act of man springs from the hidden seeds of thought, and could not have appeared without them. This applies equally to those acts called spontaneous and unpremeditated, as to those which are deliberately executed. Act is the blossom of thought, and joy and suffering are its fruits. Thus does a man garner in the sweet and bitter fruitage of his own husbandry. Thought in the mind hath made us what we are. By thought was wrought and built. If a man's mind hath evil thoughts, pain comes on him as comes the wheel the ox behind. If one endure impurity of thought, joy follows him as his own shadow sure. Man is a growth by law, and not creation by artifice, and cause and effect is as absolute and undeviating in the hidden realm of thought as in the world of visible and material things. A noble and godlike character is not a thing of favor or chance, but is the natural result of continuous effort and right thinking, the effect of long-cherished association with godlike thought. An ignoble and bestial character, by the same process, is the result of the continued harboring of groveling thoughts. Man is made or unmade by himself. In the armory of thought, he forges the weapons by which he destroys himself. He also fashions the tools with which he builds for himself heavenly mansions of joy and strength and peace. By the right choice and true application of thought, man ascends to the divine perfection. By the abuse and wrong application of thought, he descends below the level of the beast. Between these two extremes are all the grades of character, and man is their maker and master. Of all the beautiful truths pertaining to the soul which have been restored and brought to light in this age, none is more gladdening or fruitful of divine promise and confidence than this, that man is the master of thought, the molder of character, and the maker and shaper of condition, environment, and destiny. As a being of power, intelligence, and love, and the lord of his own thoughts, man holds the key to every situation and contains within himself that transforming and regenerative agency by which he may make himself what he wills. Man is always the master, even in his weakest and most abandoned state. But in his weakness and degradation, he is the foolish master who misgoverns his household. When he begins to reflect upon his condition and to search diligently for the law upon which his being is established, he then becomes the wise master, directing his energies with intelligence and fashioning his thoughts to fruitful issues. Such is the conscious master, and man can only thus become by discovering within himself the laws of thought, which discovery is totally a matter of application, self-analysis, and experience. Only by such searching and mining are gold and diamonds obtained, and man can find every truth connected with his being if he will dig deep into the mine of his soul, and that he is the maker of his character, the molder of his life, and the builder of his destiny. He may unerringly prove if he will watch, control, and alter his thoughts, tracing their effects upon himself, upon others, and upon his life and circumstances, linking cause and effect by patient practice and investigation, and utilizing his every experience, even to the most trivial, everyday occurrence, as a means of obtaining that knowledge of himself, which is understanding, wisdom, and power. In this direction, as in no other, is the law absolute that he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. For only by patience, practice, and ceaseless importunity can a man enter the door of the temple of knowledge. Hey everybody, and we're back. That was the first excerpt of James Allen's As a Man Thinketh. What do you think? What did you like? Are there any parts that you disagree with? I know that there's parts that I disagree with, and that's okay. We don't have to just blindly accept everything that we come across. Rather, we can let it simmer. We can think about it, we can act upon it, and then better utilize that which actually works in our own lives. You see, I started this podcast project because I love reading. I especially love reading out loud, and I get energized and excited at the opportunity to share information with people that can bring them more joy and purpose in their lives. I might not be able to see you, I might not even know you, but I know that in my heart of hearts, we're connected because you chose to listen today. You chose to plant the seed for a brighter future, and that choice puts you on the path for deeper meaning and more fulfillment. I want you to know that I had fun recording today's episode, and I hope you had fun listening to it. Now, think back to the quote at the beginning of the episode. Do you remember how it went? Anything about in choosing to become more free, you help others do the same? If so, you got it right. If not, that's okay. Moving forward, I can't, in good conscience, let you leave empty-handed. I want to give you something, a gift. This gift will help us organize our thoughts around the core values that we touched on at the beginning of the episode. The values of presence, confidence, and love. The gift is 2 questions. The questions go, what practices do you already have in place that allow you to be more free? And in the spirit of the new year, what practices do you want to adopt moving forward? Seeing as this is the end of the episode, this is probably where I should say something about you needing to subscribe and sharing it with all of your Instagram or Twitter followers. Instead, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to listen, and I look forward to sharing the next episode of Out Loud with Dixon with you.